So if you've been looking at Traxxas TRX-4s and finally decided on one of the kits because there's a bunch of different options available out there, I'm about to blow your mind because there is another option to consider, and that is this truck right back here, the Traxxas TRX-4 equipped with Traxx. This is a pretty cool rig, and you know, looking at the prices of all the parts that it comes with, it might be the best deal out there for you. Now, we've already reviewed the Traxxas TRX-4 and the TRX-4 Sport, and we reviewed the Traxx, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to link up top to some of those videos throughout this video, so definitely check out those reviews. You'll be able to get a lot more information out of it. But in this video right here, I just kind of want to go over what makes this particular TRX-4 unique. And that is, obviously, it comes with the Traxx, it's based on the TRX-4 Sport, and it comes with a lot of accessories that a lot of people want. Now, I'm going to start off with some of the chassis highlights here. Now, this is basically a TRX-4 Sport, which means, you know, it's got that metal C-channel frame, it's got a single-speed transmission, it's got the lock differentials. It doesn't have the 2-speed or the switchable differentials, but it has exactly what you need to use with the Traxx here. So along with the great chassis details, you get the portal axles, you get metal links, you get aluminum shocks. I mean, it is really a great kit under there. What makes it a little bit different from the Sport is it does have the narrow wheel wells in there. The Traxxas Sport didn't have the wheel wells in it, so that is a difference there. But basically, the rest of the chassis setup is the same, and even down to the electronics. It's got the 2075X servo up front. It's got the XL5 HV electronic speed controller, a brush speed controller that powers the 550 Titan motor that's in there. And of course, the receiver is inside a radio box, making the electronics weatherproof, has the TQ radio system. So basically, you know, what we've seen in the Sport, including the Sport body, the big difference in the body here, and I might as well get into the body details, is it does have painted fender flares, where in the original Sport we had to put some decals on it. And then the windows on here are clear, which is super cool because that allows us to go and put a interior if you want to. But the other big changes on this are the accessories that come with it. And obviously you can see it right there. It does come with a snorkel, it comes with the roof rack, it comes with a bunch of gear that is on the roof rack, such as the sand ramps, some fuel packs, some shovels, the high lift jack, and even a fire extinguisher. So it's really detailed right out of the box. But the super cool thing, in my opinion, is that it comes with LED lights. It's got the light bar on the roof rack, which is so awesome once it's lit up. And then in the front, it's got a molded grille with lights at the end, and LED lights, of course, inside of it. And same in the back, it's got a tailgate. It's a molded plastic tailgate with taillights in the back, which is, it just looks great when it's lit up. It also has the lighting module attached to the floorboard of the chassis that powers the lights. And what else I really like about this body is it's really just well detailed right out of the box. It's simple, you know, single color paint job, but really well painted, and even the wiring inside is really nicely laid out. You know, I'm a stickler when it comes to wiring things. I like everything nice and neat, and it comes right out of the box just like that. All right, now the other big change, you know, from the Sport is obviously the Traxx. Now, I reviewed the Traxx. These are a lot of fun in a lot of different conditions, such as in sand, in the mud, and well, I imagine in the snow. It's summertime right now, and I can't wait for snow. I can't believe I'm saying that again. You know, I can't wait for snow to go and try these out. But they're a great alternative to a tire that gives you a totally different driving experience, which I'll show you in just a bit. We're going to, of course, go out and drive this thing. But the Traxx are really well designed. The track itself has a nice chevron pattern to it. It's got a really wide tread, so you get that surface area. It's got dual large ball bearings to support the top cog. The roller wheels on the bottom do have oilite bushings. They're, you know, perfect for basically, you know, going through the mud and stuff like that. And there's a lot of other neat features to those Traxx, including the damper that keeps the track in place and allows it to maneuver over obstacles and such. Just a cool setup. Can't wait to show you that. And then it comes with the usual stuff that you need, such as the manual. Also comes with an information sheet that you should read about the Traxx and how to operate them. Traxxas gives you tools, and there's a bag of body clips and stuff. The only thing you're going to need to get this thing going is 4 AA batteries for the radio system, and then a 2-cell LiPo battery with a charger. And Traxxas has a lot of offerings there as well. You could even go and put a small shorty pack up in the front. This kit does allow you to do that, which the Sport didn't. Because of the fender wells in there, they have a little mounting plate for a forward battery, which gets the weight up front and it allows you to crawl a bit better. So overall, this kit is actually built up with a lot of components that experienced crawlers want out of a trail truck, and I'm pretty excited to go out and test it. So I'm gonna stop talking right now. We're gonna head outside and go have some fun with this truck. So what I thought was going to be one day of testing turned into multiple days because I had to go and try this truck on multiple different surfaces to show you, and I wound up traveling to a bunch of my favorite test locations to show you guys what this truck could do. And first up, I just went down to my local park, which was a bunch of hiking trails, and this truck was just great there. It was a lot of fun to climb up those mossy rocks. It just did its job articulating over a lot of the roots and other rocks that were on the trail and stuff, and it was just cool to walk along the path there and have fun driving this truck. Now the thing with the Traxx is there is a bit of a reduction in the track, so there's a reduction in speed, so it's a bit slower than walking pace. So that's where planning your adventure comes into play. If you're going to go out on walking trails, you might find it a little on the slow side, but if you know where you're going to go and crawl and have different things to crawl over, that's where it's going to be a lot of fun. And so that's what I did. Went down by the water at the lake, and there's just a lot of roots and rocks and stuff to crawl over, and mossy rock. And it was just really cool for the video as well. But obviously I had to go and show you guys more, so I went up to one of my bashing locations where there's just a lot of sand, a lot of hills with loose dirt and some rocks as well, and some tall grass to go through. And that's where this thing was just ultra cool, just kind of side hilling some of the berms there and watching sand just fall off the side of the tracks and just churning stuff up. That was pretty neat to watch. Just going through that tall grass. I mean, nothing stopped this truck. It just mowed everything down. That was a lot of fun. And, just going over the rocks and stuff too. It was just so capable. The contact patch of these Traxx just really helps out a lot. And if it does start to dig into the sand or anything, you just start wiggling the wheels and it will basically get up and out of, any holes that it digs itself into. So again, it is super capable with this. And even there, I noticed that, with the increased ground clearance here, because with the Traxx, there's more ground clearance on top of the portals. I was going over a lot of stuff that would have just hung up other trucks altogether. So, super capable there. The only thing I did notice is, the steering is a bit on the sluggish side. It is that stock servo that comes in the other TRX-4s, and it's moving these big tracks there. And, and once you start moving, I mean, as long as you got some speed behind it, it will steer. But if you come to a stop and then you want to crank the wheel, you might notice that the steering just can't turn until you start moving. So just kind of keep that in mind. I know Traxxas on the side of the box, they have recommendations for their optional servo, the 400 servo and a metal steering arm. No problems with the plastic servo horn on here, but they do recommend that option. I think that's a good one to get if you're planning out your upgrades for the future on this. After testing it in the sand, I went and found a muddy location. I actually had to drive all over the place to find some mud to go through, but I finally found a spot, and it was this really slimy, swampy mud, and this thing actually smells right now. But I had to show you guys this thing going through the mud, and it's very capable through the mud as well. A rubber tire truck would have just stopped in this mud. It was so slimy, and this thing did slow down. It really started to churn into that mud, but again, wiggle the wheels, and it was able to get out of it. And it was, mud was just coming off all over the place. It was pretty cool to watch. And then we drove it through some water and everything like that. So no water issues causing any problems here. Just a lot of fun with this truck. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this might be a great deal for someone looking to get into a TRX-4. And the reason why I say that is if you go and look at prices on this stuff, the TRX-4 Sport, which is what this truck is based off of, that's about $360 right now. The Traxx, I believe, are like $230, so you're at like $590 if I'm doing my math right. And this thing is $600, so you're $10 off. So if you just went and bought the inner fenders, which this kit comes with, the Sport doesn't, that's like another $20. So now you're over the price of buying everything individually. Whereas if you just bought this to start, you would be ahead of the game, and you're even farther ahead because it's got a lot of these accessories on here. So I think the light kit is like 60 some odd dollars, and by the time you add everything up, I think it's over $100 for all this stuff on this truck. So you wind up saving yourself some money in the process. And maybe you want to go and make it a rubber tire truck, which you could totally do and have fun crawling over rocks and stuff like that. But you just go out, you get yourself a set of tires, and you go find something used. If you don't want to buy something new, you could probably find a really good deal to save a few bucks there. And you're also going to need some screws, which I will put the part numbers to that below. So if you do want to go and get some tires, you need the screws for the portals as well. to replace the bracket screws. But just thinking about it, I think, you are really going to come out ahead. You're going to save yourself some money, especially if you like the accessories that come with this. And I think these are awesome. It looks super cool out there on the trail. Love the way it looks. Love the way it looks in rubber tire mode as well when I did put tires on it. And again, I think it's a good deal. It's a really versatile package, and I really think that this particular TRX-4 is the one to get if you want to go Traxxas.